What's good, man? Y'all tapping into another episode of Urban Moguls with B. We right here with a real special guest. He goes by the name of YMTK, aka Young Murph, the mother kid. What's good, brother?
What's up with you?
Shit, I appreciate you having me here.
A lot of cats don't know what that means, YMTK.
Well, they know now.
Thanks for putting them on game.
Yeah, no doubt.
I wasn't finna say it.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell the people what you do exactly to this day and where you from.
For sure. I think the easiest way of going about what I do is I'm a songwriter and a vibe coordinator, and I'm from East Oakland, California.
Throw that shit up.
Come on, man.
Hey, so what you mean by vibe coordinator? Like, for the people who don't know.
Like over the years of just being a creative and being around a bunch of creatives, I've like realized how much ego can mess up the creative process. So like, you know, when I'm in a situation, when I'm creating and I'm trying to like get the best out of, you know, whatever's going on in the room, I'm prepared to do the most or the least amount possible just to create the best song. You know? So like, I don't have to necessarily be running the whole situation and like, oh, we got to use my melodies or my hook or my, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I'm just going to be able to coordinate and get the best out of everybody there.
Yeah, you're not necessarily worried about getting all the credit.
It's not like, about that, yeah.
I just want to get the job done the right way.
Yeah, the best way. I just want this song to be hella clean.
Yeah, well, shit, that way.
Yeah.
So before we jump into everything that, you know, I want to talk about, go ahead and talk about what was Young Murph's life like growing up in, was it East Oakland?
Yeah.
East Oakland, California.
Man, my life was incredible, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got a very unique perspective on life. I was blessed. Like, I grew up in East Oakland, you know, in Funktown, East 23rd. And I had two parents, and that was like very rare in my neighborhood and in my family. You know what I'm saying? Just like having that two-parent household, and then I was like raised with a very spiritual foundation, and that like played a huge role throughout my life. So like me growing up in East Oakland, and then my mom being an educator, learning very early that she wasn't finna send me to Oakland Public Schools, you know what I'm saying? Because she worked in Oakland Public Schools.
Yeah.
So it was like, she knew very early, like before we was even born, like she was always like, and this is pre-internet, but she was like researching, trying to like drive around, talk to people like about schooling, you know, like where can I send my kids, bruh? Because she just knew better. Like growing up in East Oakland and having this like dual perspective of like my reality and, you know, a lot of my family and friends and loved ones, and then like when I started going to St. Joe's, going across that bridge, Alameda was a different environment. You know, cats was pulling up in BMWs freshman year, you know. It's like, okay, for sure, like
they ain't scraping no more.
Yeah.
The foreign thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it was cool, man. It was cool for me to see that, bro. To see, you know, see both sides and always have that perspective. And my pops did a really good job of like grounding us and making us understand the value of a dollar and like, you know, working for things and just like not taking life for granted. And even when we did, you know, we kind of came up when I was in around the 8th grade or whatever, we got a little bit of cheese and could have dipped to San Leandro. My mom wanted to go to San Leandro.
Yeah.
She was like, bro, why would we live here? You know, like let's get out while we can. And it was hella important for my pops to be like, no, we need to be right here. Like what? Like, no, we just gonna fix up the house a little bit. And that's what we did, and we stayed there. And like, it was important for him to like, I have like family members that was like, they're not my real family, but it was just neighborhood knocks. Where like they so involved in my life and like us like he needed us to see that. He
like,
wasn't trying to hide us from that or like, you know, act like that's not a part of the real world. So it's like having that perspective and then having the, you know, private school perspective, which definitely helped lead me to like going to Santa Cruz and like having a college perspective, you know. It just kept going, you feel me?
Yeah, it's basically keeping you on your toes and being humble at the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously it's like, that's in hindsight, but like when you going through it, it's just, that was just my life. You feel me? The Bay and Oakland being such a melting pot of like different cultures and walks of life, and you just soaking up little game from here and there. I just was really blessed to be able to be soaking up game from so many different little avenues, you know what I'm saying? So it just broadened my perspective from a very early age.
Yeah. So one thing I caught on to right now was you said we. Who's we in the household?
Me and my younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah, my younger brother's 4 years younger than me. We hella close. We like was raised to be hella close. We had to be. You know, my pops was like, you feel me, at the end of the day, y'all gonna have each other, bro. Y'all got a mob. So it was like, obviously, you know, you grow up, you fighting with your brother, y'all like have to go your own little paths, and you know, that happened, but it's like that's always been my heart. Like that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's why it's good to see y'all mobbing. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's on everything.
Yeah, off top.
We all we got.
Straight up.
So with you and your brother, younger brother to be exact, growing up in East Oakland and not going to a public school, how was that like? You know what I mean? Because obviously you was crossing paths with other, you know, street people and all that, you know?
Yeah.
What was that like? Was you ever like, they try to push the issue on you because you were being protected or going to like a private school or whatever?
You know what? I don't think anybody ever pressed my line like for going to a private school. I feel like I stayed where I stayed, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like I had hella friends and homies. Like my pops, his name was Murphy. And like obviously I'm Murphy as well. But like the young Murph thing didn't even really come from me being like a junior. It was just, I was always the youngest. You feel me? And so like then the whole Murphy the second, it just started like, oh, that's young Murph.
Like
you know?
The Smurfs.
Exactly, like the Smurfs. I was Lil Murph though. I was Smurf for a long time too. Like, oh, Smurf. You feel me? It was like, I've always been, you know, acknowledged as the younger or little or young, you know, Murph. And I think just early on, like my homies in the neighborhood, you know, shout out all my niggas in Funktown that I grew up with. Like I had like the best time ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just a little weirdo ass kid. You know what I'm saying? And they just hella fucked with me because I was just like, you know, I was just me. You feel me? I'm just trying to hoop and shit. And so like they kind of, it was like an affection, like we got to take care of little bruh. You know what I'm saying? Because I was already younger. And it was just like, bruh, your head be in the clouds or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, that was my relationship to the street side, I guess you could say, of like my environment. But you know, obviously you grow up, you know, it's you getting in fights and like it's a little bullshit here and there. But like for the most part, bro, it was like my experience was like cats was gonna press you regardless. It didn't matter what school. That's it. It's just, it just comes with the territory. Yeah,
no doubt. So you was talking about hoops right now. You was trying to hoop. Now, did you hoop in high school, and how far did you take hoop, or what was your vision like? Did you want to go to NBA overseas? What was that like?
Nigga, I was going to the league. I was going to the league, dude. Like, I remember being in like the 7th grade or something like that, going into the 8th grade, and I had a doctor's appointment. And that's when I first, like my foot was growing hella fast. And around the 8th grade, I started wearing a size 12. I wear a 12 now.
Walking like a Sasquatch and shit.
For real, bro. I was like hella lanky and like, you know what I'm saying? So the doctor was like, oh, you finna have a growth spurt, bro. You finna be 6'6". Bruh, you telling me at 12, 13 I'm finna be 6'6"? I got snotty real quick. I was like, oh, I'm blasting off on these. I'm going to the league. You know what I'm saying? Obviously it didn't happen like that, but I always loved hoop. Like that was my one true love. That was the thing that I really gave myself to. And obviously, you can relate, like the disciplines and the lessons that you learn from playing that sport, and you know, most team sports, and like anything that you devote time to like that, it really carries over to, you know, your life practices, and you know, just how you view things, you feel me, and how you move. So I'm real thankful for my journey in hoop, you know, even though it had to come, you know, it got cut short, you know, I never really made it to the leagues. But.
No doubt. Man, I feel you on that, because I actually wrote a book about how basketball is the same thing as love, you know what I mean, like in a relationship.
Wow.
It teaches you so many different things on how to, for instance, right, like me growing up, not having a mother, whatever, you know what I mean, around, not knowing what love is, how to treat a female, right, and then you get older and you start realizing that it's the same thing. Like, you gotta invest time, you know. There's different gyms that have different smells, long, big, you know what I mean, all that, just like females.
Mm-hmm.
So on and so forth, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, besides that, how far did you go with your basketball career?
I want to read that book, dog.
I got you.
That's tight.
I got you, son.
I went to the college level. I played on the college level. Played at UC Santa Cruz. I thought about going overseas, but really by the time I got to college, you know, my freshman year, that's when I like fell in love with music, or like just had this kind of crazy curiosity. I never really messed with it before that time. So when that whole thing came about, it was like, it was threatening for a lot of the people around me, because my identity was so closely related to hoop for so long, you know what I'm saying, that I now had this interest in something that was just not hoop. And it's like, I'm doing something that's like nobody even knows what, like, bro, what are you even talking about? It's not even attainable to, like, what, rapping and music and stuff, like, what does that even mean, dog? You hoop, you feel me? So it was like, it shook people, but that's how much I really kind of like was like, damn, this is kind of tight, you know.
And so this was in high school?
This was in college.
College.
My freshman year.
So I mean, I know your mom does gospel, right?
Yeah.
Was she any kind of influence to that?
Yeah, without a doubt, dog. I feel like if I didn't grow up in, you know, in the church and like having the mom and just bloodline that I have, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. 1000%. All of this shit is preordained. You feel me? So that's why I gotta give it up to God, because it's like I had no idea I was gonna be doing this. As I said, I was going to the league. You feel me? It's like God's plan was something different, but I was going to the league.
Hey, you still balling though, bro? Like, what you doing right now? You ain't in the league, but you balling?
Last playoffs, they you know, ESPN and ABC was running Dizzy Love. You feel me, during the playoffs. So it's like I kind of made it to the league. I was in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I heard that.
You know what I'm saying?
I seen that too.
Yeah, man. Hey, praise God, dog. You know, he not gonna put me under nothing I can't get over. He was like, I'm gonna put you in the league, bro. I got you. You ain't finna play on no team, but I got you.
You ain't even gonna be on the bench. Hey, you gonna be there.
You there though.
Yeah. So, you was talking about Santa Cruz, bro. How did Santa Cruz come about, and how long were you there?
So I was hooping. I was really set on going to Chico, and like had a situation where I could have gone up there. My older cousin He was like a star hooper up there. He wound up being one of the assistant coaches at that time. So he was like really he was making the whole play of like, hey man, we could make this happen, you know? And this is after I hurt my ankle the first time. And I had other interests, you know, before that, but that was my junior year. So by the time I came back, I didn't really have the senior year I was supposed to. It's all good. But I was dead set I was going to Chico.
Yeah.
I hurt myself again, just playing in the pickup game at the gym at St. Joe's. And then that just wasn't even an option no more.
Yeah.
But my coach from St. Joe's junior year, he wound up taking the Santa Cruz job. And he hit me like, hey, you know, knowing the whole situation, like, hey, bruh, I'm trying to build this up here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a place where I know you could, you know, you gonna get better. You could come ball out. Like, what's up? You trying to come mess with it? And he was recruiting one of my best friends, Lorenzo, and Cameron and David, and it was just like all of my close ass homies going to this school. I'm like, oh, bro, let's go to Santa Cruz. But then Cam wound up not going, and Zoe and Dave went. And when I got there, it was like I was in a boot, you know, like, because I'm still having to recover. And it was like, I remember move-in day, I was like, bruh, I gotta take this boot off. And you know, my mom was walking to the dorm room, and my pops was like getting some stuff, and he turned around and he seen me taking the boot off, and he was like, bro, what are you doing? And I was like, hey, I'm not finna be boot, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's first impressions. I'm not finna be bruh that's like, oh yeah, that's boot, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, we just getting here. Like, that's not me. I'd rather be bruh that walk hella slow.
Yeah.
You know, like, are you talking about bruh that just walk hella slow? Slow, bruh, yeah. But I wasn't gonna be boot, bruh, you know, and I was supposed to be in the boot. It was towards the end of my recovery. Yeah. I was supposed to be in, I think, like 2 more weeks, and I just was like, nah, I'm taking it off, bro. Yeah. And so I took it off. Everybody don't really know. Like, my coach is probably like, bro, why did you do that? But yeah, I wound up taking it off. And I did that because my older cousin that went to Riverside, and he was like, yo, bro, like, you know, your first impression at college means hella much. So like these orientations and icebreakers and all this stuff, just be hella outgoing, you know, because like all the girls gonna be like, damn, I'm trying to fuck with him. And all the dudes gonna be like, hey, bro, I'm trying to fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like everybody gonna fuck with you. So that was in my mind. Yeah. That's why I took the boot off. Also, you know, in the first couple of days, we having this little, like icebreaker. It's called Oaks Idol. I lived in Oaks. Shout out Oaks College. And yeah, you feel me, gang gang. And DJ Dahi was one of the judges actually of the Oaks Idol shit. And so it was like karaoke, but I made everybody like kind of snap, you know what I'm saying? And I did Music Soul Child, Just Friends, and just did it a cappella. And like cats started singing along, and they was fucking with it. And it was like I was getting this reaction and response. I was trying to do this with my homies at first, but they was scared, you know. Zoe and Dave, I'm like, bro, let's go sing Shy, you feel me? And we had did that in high school just on some like joke shit, you know. Dave is a musical genius. He used to do like $500 plate banquets for the mayor when we were 14. Like, Dave is an actual musical genius. By chance, he just happened to be hella good at hoop, and he's my homie. That plays a part in the story as well, you feel me? Just by chance, it's my homie, he's a musical genius. I still not thinking about doing music. Throughout high school, when he doing music, great job, Dave. I'm going to go hoop, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so these cats scared, because they don't want to be bros that went insane. They not thinking, I'm like, bro, Trey said, when you get up here, you feel me, be hella outgoing, just do some shit like that, like people gonna fuck with you. And they're just hella shook. I'm like, bruh, y'all weak, watch. And it was more so just to prove to them y'all hella weak. I wasn't even thinking I'm about to just go sing in front of everybody. Wasn't taking it serious at all. But then I won Oaks Idol. Got a $250 gift certificate to the bookstore to get books, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, so that felt good. That was a different feeling. And then also cats starting to recognize me from that. Like, oh, that's bruh that, you know what I'm saying? Oh, that's Young Murph.
Oh, that's slow, bruh. That's slow, bruh.
I wasn't even slow, bruh. I didn't even have time to, you know what I'm saying, commit to slow, bruh. You feel me? That was second, third day we was there.
Yeah.
So it's like, I immediately was recognized for something that wasn't hoop, you know? And that was like, it kind of piqued my interest in it.
Yeah.
And then when I realized that I was able to apply all of this that I was exposed to for so long, you know, like being around really, really good music, you know, and like church musicians are some of the cleanest musicians. I just happened to be exposed to these people. My mom was in the choir, so I just happened to like to sit right in the middle of the drums, the organ, the bass, you know, I just like sitting there. You feel me? It just felt crazy. And I knew I loved music, but like then when all that happened, and I'm 18 by this point, you know what I'm saying? I've lived 18 years without even a thought of like doing music. And I was a good writer though. That was the one thing that I was good at in school, was writing. My 6th grade, my teacher, Miss Brownlee, shout out Miss Brownlee, she told me I was a good writer. And it made me be like, oh, for real? She was like, you're a really good writer. Your poetry is great. Like, I love it. I'm just gonna keep it lit with you.
Yeah.
Feel me? And I was just like, and Miss Brownlee was a real one. She used to smoke hella cigarettes and drink Cokes all day. Like, for real. That's what she did. She would cuss you out. Like, she wasn't, you feel me? So it was like, she wasn't just telling me this to be like, oh, I'm coddling you. Nah, Miss Brownlee was a real one. She was one of my favorite teachers because she was hella blunt like that. Like, Brown, tripping off y'all. So that was a long ass answer to a question that doesn't really apply, but I feel like I gave you hella background on.
It's good though, because people who don't know who you are and the people who know who you are but don't know about your background, they're gonna see the real you. You feel me?
Straight up.